15 years is a long time to keep a secret from yourself. My name is Julian, and I live in a house that breathes with the rhythm of a clock that stopped in 2011. I'm a restorer of antique clocks quiet, profession for a man who prefers the company of gears and springs to the messy unpredictability of people. My home is a sprawling Victorian, 3 stories of cedar and stained glass, tucked away at the end of a gravel road. I like the silence. I like the way the shadows stretch across the floor at exactly 4 o'clock p.m. But on a Tuesday that started like any other, the silence was broken by something impossible. I walked into the blue room, the parlor where my wife, Clara, used to spend her afternoons reading. I haven't opened the curtains in that room since her funeral. It's a tomb of velvet and dust. But there, sitting on a lace doily, was a white porcelain mug. The steam was rising in a delicate, lazy spiral. I reached out, my heart hammering a frantic rhythm against my ribs, and touched the side of the cup. It was scalding, and next to it, resting on the saucer, was a single, half-a-tin lemon shortbread cookie. Clara's favorite. Fear is a slow-burn chemical reaction. At first, you deny it. But as the days bled into a week, the anomalies became an invasion. I started finding the small things. The scent of lavender soap in a shower I hadn't turned on. The sound of a humming melody coming from behind the drywall. I became a man possessed. I stopped working on the clocks. My workbench sat silent. While I rigged my house with every piece of surveillance tech I could buy, I spent my nights in a darkened basement, staring at a wall of monitors. On the 3rd night, the thermal camera in the hallway spiked. A heat signature human-shaped, but flickering like a dying candle, walked from the blue room to the kitchen. It didn't open the door. It walked through the wood. The figure stood at the stove. It made a series of mechanical, repetitive motions, reaching for a kettle that wasn't there, pouring water into a void. Then, it turned toward the camera. The thermal image showed a face, but the heat wasn't concentrated in the brain or the heart. It was concentrated in the eyes. The figure didn't speak, but a message appeared on my monitor, typed into the command prompt. Julian, why are you still in the basement? Dinner is getting cold. I ran to the kitchen, clutching a heavy brass clock weight as a weapon. The room was empty. The stove was cold, but the smell was their roast chicken and rosemary, the exact meal we were supposed to eat 15 years ago, on the night of the accident. The accident is a word I've used to shield myself from the truth. I went back to the attic, to the boxes of Clara's belongings. Underneath a pile of winter coats, I found a heavy, steel-bound chest. It was filled with blueprints. They weren't for the house. They were for a machine. A complex, terrifying arrangement of copper coils, vacuum tubes, and mercury switches. October 12, 2011. The car accident was successful. The physical body has been discarded. Clara is no longer subject to the decay of time. I have built the house around her to act as a battery. I felt a wave of nausea so profound I had to lean against the rafters. I didn't lose Clara. I harvested her. The master clock wasn't in the attic. It was in the basement, behind the very wall where I had set up my surveillance monitors. I grabbed a sledgehammer and began to smash the concrete. With every blow, the house screamed. The pipes shrieked, and the windows rattled. The wall crumbled, revealing a hidden chamber. In the center sat a massive, brass-and-glass sphere. Inside, suspended in a glowing blue fluid, was a woman. Julian. Stop. The voice didn't come from the tank. It came from my own head. A figure stepped out of the shadows. It was me, but older. His skin was the color of parchment, and his eyes were the same white-hot pits I'd seen. We are the same, you fool. Every time you find the tank, you realize what you've done, and you beg me to wipe your memory so you can go back to your clocks. I looked at the woman in the tank. Her eyes snapped open. They weren't Clara's eyes. They were gears. Small, intricate, brass gears spinning at a furious speed. The house isn't a battery for her, I said. She's the battery for us. I didn't smash the tank. I sat down at the workbench. I picked up a screwdriver. I felt a sudden urge to check the timing on the master clock. I looked at the monitor one last time. The thermal camera showed the kitchen. The table was set for 2. I turned back to the tank. The woman inside was gone. There was only blue fluid and a pile of rusted gears. I picked up the white porcelain mug. It was empty. It was cold, but when I took a sip, it tasted exactly like lemon shortbread.